You still sound a little low or soft for whatever
Really?
reason.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't know why. I have my
1 2
volume all
1 2 check check check.
more. Keep going.
That's all I can do.
Oh,
I don't know what else I can do.
okay.
I I mean, I'm using
Maybe
the mic.
it's me. I don't know.
No, I've noticed I've been soft lately, and I don't know what to do about it.
Viagra.
I've just been, haha. That was a good one. That was a good one. And I have to pump up the. I've been having to pump up my levels, and here we
Yeah,
go.
you do.
Episode 27.
27.
Um,
27, you
27.
guys. Throwing up the signs. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow. 27. 27 is a lucky number for the most part. It just feels lucky. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there, trying to be positive. It just feels lucky. 27. Thank you guys for coming. It's a good show. It's going to be a special show. We got Andi Matichak on this show today.
Yeah, we do. It was a great interview.
It was fun to talk to her. We interviewed her earlier today at 8 this morning, our time, because she's on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So Sean and I were still, I know that I had just had a cup of coffee and was still trying to wake up. So if I seem a little sleepy on that interview, it's because it's 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning after a very long, very busy week that I had. So
Yeah. I had to set an alarm, which I don't do these days.
that's all I do now. All I do is set alarms. And today I wasn't going to have to, but I did because we had to do the interview. We had to change it. So, but we got up, we did it, and it turned out good.
I was about to go, what the hell's going on in your voice? You cleared your throat. I was like, for a second there, you was like, devil times 5. I'm like,
devil
what's going
times 5. That's my devil times 5.
Let's talk. Let's get caught up on a little thing. I have a few questions we missed on the last episode. We didn't have many from the live episode because we were answering them in real time. So there was only a couple. So it's going to be easy to breeze through this stuff. But first things first, we should probably we had some gifts that were sent to us while you were in Australia. I finally made the pilgrimage to your house and passed off said gifts. So we're going to start with, this is from, and I'll let you know what they are. Kay Sawyer. This says Sean and Christopher's an envelope here, and it says, sorry, you will have to read the return envelope up to put the stickers in. Oh, I guess I got to send him stickers. Or maybe I did already. Did I already do that? I don't know if I did. I'll have to figure that out. But there's a card. It's got skateboards on it because, we're both big into skating.
Oh. I don't have that in my stash.
No, you don't. P.S. Let's see. I sent this get off my lawn with your Halloween goodies, but I may have missed your answering it on the video. My get off my lawn moment is DVD labels, boutique labels charging $30 for a new release of a film with so many new features, sit down interiors, etc. But they wait, even close. Oh, and won't even close caption or subtitle them. He said, "I'm deaf, a huge film fan, and I may as well just stick with the money, bare bones disc. Do you two have an opinion on this? Looking forward to future vids. Dear Sean and Christopher, so glad it is 2020. Oh, I guess this was kind of the PS. This was the second part I read first because he did it. He started over here and ended over there.
Got it.
Dear Sean and Christopher, so glad it's 2020 and that you two are still entertaining us with your thing with two heads. Here are some Rumblefish stickers I had made as it was one of my favorite films. Two stickers each, he said. I've also included some ball powder for you, Sean, and some mini eggs for you and Christopher, but I gave those to Christopher. You probably already
did. I ate those already. They were delicious. And they're not on my diet, but I ate them anyway. They were my cheat.
He sent me this.
Nice. Okay.
And I'm wondering, this is from where is this from? This is from
Thank you for these.
He sent this from England. So is this stuff not banned in England? If it is, I may have to go to England to get it. Yeah.
He's got to go all the way to the UK to take care of his junk.
Of my boys.
His junk.
And he sent some Ferris Bueller's Day Off stickers.
Oh.
It's
one of my favorites.
Oh, is it?
Oh yeah, I love Shermer, Illinois. Come on,
but man. He only sent one of each of those, so I don't know. We could share these, I guess. And then I got the Rumblefish stickers he sent.
Yeah,
he didn't mention the Ferris Bueller's Day Off in here. But let's see, what's this?
Love me some Ferris. Love me some Ferris. Say Ferris, man.
Yeah, okay, this is his envelope to send the stickers. Okay, I got to send him stickers. So you're going to get some stickers, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. So I Katie. Oh, it's Katie. It's a girl. I said he this whole time. It's Katie. Katie.
Oh.
So Kate, I feel strange if a girl is buying me ball powder. That's weird.
Why? What's the difference?
Well, I guess I don't know.
You should feel weird just getting ball powder from anybody.
I guess I should. I guess
gender
I should.
Specific.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't even know why I said that. It seems more like a dude.
Don't cut that out. You have to leave that in. Do not cut that out.
I'm going to leave that in. But to get to her question regarding subtitles, or closed captions. I mean, obviously, I would think, especially a big special release DVD should have closed captions and subtitles for sure. Obviously neither Chris nor myself are deaf, so it's never been something that we've had issue with. But yeah, I can definitely feel for your position, and yeah, that would really be a bummer if you threw down some hard-earned money to get a Blu-ray or a DVD you can't even enjoy.
Yeah, that is a get off my lawn moment. I will give you that. In regards to a DVD, period, get off my lawn. Packaging again with the plastic on the DVDs that you got to take off. Do they still put the tape? I haven't bought one. Do they still put the little dog bone tape fucking thing on there that you can't peel off that ruins the cover of the thing and the
well that's another thing is like you pull the plastic off the thing and then you go
which
to
is
open
almost impossible to do,
and you can't get it open because it's got both sides. Well, I hate it when they seal all three sides.
Why it's not plutonium. What is the deal? Why are we packaging it like that? Drives me mad.
And then when the cover slips slightly out of the plastic and gets stuck to the tape, like you said, and it rips it.
Yeah. It's not cool, man.
Get
cool.
Off.
Thank you, Katie.
Our lawn.
Get off my lawn. I have a get off my lawn real quick. We'll just cover it real quick.
You do that.
And it's a self-imposed get off my lawn. I guess it's aimed more at me.
Okay.
I'm having an issue with texting. I press the right key, but I get a different letter because I guess my meat fingers aren't as agile as they used to be. And so I'm spending more time correcting my texts than I am with the actual text. And it's driving me crazy. And it's ongoing. It's too common for me to ignore. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I need one of those old people phones where I make the buttons way bigger, so my big meaty banana hands can deal. I don't know what the deal is. It's driving me crazy. It makes me not want to text.
Have you considered just using the audio thing to just talk into it and let it
I haven't. I should do that, I guess.
I started doing that recently and it's pretty good.
Okay.
I mean, I'm still stuck with, but every once in a while I'll do it. And
but a lot of times I'm around people while I'm texting, and I don't need people to hear what I'm texting. I don't need people to hear, something private. I'm sorry, I left my ball powder out on the counter. Just put it in my drawer with the rest of my penis paraphernalia. I don't know.
I like the water-based lubricant. Okay. Right. The other one gives me a rash.
Do you have to say period too? Do you have to go, I'm sorry, period. Didn't mean to leave my ball powder there, period. Well, I had one last night where I was at the grocery store, and if you're standing in line, which I try to avoid, I really try to avoid going to I hate going to the grocery store. I hate it. It's one of the that's to get off my lawn. I hate going to the grocery store. But when I do go, I try to do self checkout, and I do self checkout because usually quicker and easier than
I
standing
know
in
it.
line.
I already know what you're gonna say.
I don't think you do.
I think I do, but go ahead.
What is the deal with people checking out in front of you that need to have a conversation with the cashier or the checkout person that goes on forever? And you're standing there. There's a line behind you of 8 people, and they're like, "That's pretty good. I went to Denver, Colorado, saw my grandson," and blah, blah. And you're like, "What, dude? Really? Let's go. Take your Twinkies and your bottle of Chardonnay and let me get through here. I gotta go."
And your ball powder.
And your ball powder. That's kind of driving me nuts. What were you thinking I was going to say?
That wasn't it. Okay, but I agree with that one. Mine is when you're using the self checkout and you're doing the scan.
Oh, yeah.
And then you go to the and it place the item in the bag, and you're like, it's in the baggage area.
It's there.
It's like it's there. Attendant coming to, and you're like standing there, and everybody's standing or waiting or is looking at you like, "What'd you do, bro?"
And then the next time you do it, you overcompensate when you put it in the bagging area. Like you go, boop, and you go, like you really slam it down in the bagging area to make sure that sensor acknowledges it, and it still goes, place item in the bagging area.
No,
it drives me nuts. I'm with you.
Yeah, that one, and when I'm doing like a case of water and I pick it up and I scan it and say I have 4 cases of water and I don't want to keep doing it, and I want to do another one, so I'm holding it to do another one, and it's place it in the bagging area. It's like, no, I'm trying to do the same thing. God damn it, I don't want to have to place it and grab another one.
Right. And I'm looking for the barcode and I can't find it because they put it in some weird place on the packaging. It's driving me nuts. And you can't buy booze in the bagging area. In the self checkout. You can't. If I'm getting
you can't even buy Tide Pods because
really
idiot kids are eating them. So you got to get you have to be like an adult to buy those.
Let's say I'm buying two items. I'm buying Dolly Madison chocolate donuts and a bottle of tequila. I got to go stand in line.
That's a party.
I got to go stand in line 10 people deep just to buy those 2 items instead of, be on my way.
Yeah. And then the other thing is that they have a cashier standing there
right there
watching.
Yep.
And it's like, well, what's the point? If you're just
I want that job. Maybe I should do that job for a living. Just
I don't think you'd excel at that.
No?
No.
I don't know. I think I'd be pretty good at that.
No.
All right.
All right. Going on to the next one. So this is the next gift we got. It's from Jesse Bateman.
And Jesse Bateman. Thank you, Jesse, for sending
We got a letter here. It says,
"Ooh,
good day," because it came from Australia.
Oh, good day, mate.
Sean and Chris, just wanted to say a massive, in all caps, thanks for doing what you guys do. The show is fantastic and has really re-inspired me in many ways. What the show brings is not only entertaining, but brings so much perspective and depth to this genre. For this, once again, I say thank you. Please find in this package some tokens of appreciation. Appreciation. I don't know why I couldn't speak for a second. Sorry, Chris. The action figure is for Sean. A copy of my book series, homage to the Warriors, centered around Baseball Furies, which I hope you guys dig. An original prototype of my comic book, Freakenstein, and a CD from my band, Dark Cell. Enjoy the Vegemite. There's an art to making a good Vegemite sandwich. Thanks again, Stave Freaky Jesse. So he sent me this. He sent me the He-Man Halloween Resurrection figure.
Nice.
Which I would have never bought, so thank you. And then I gave you the Frankenstein comics.
Right there.
And I got the Furies ones.
Oh, I like the Furies ones.
I can give you one of these. I figured the Frankenstein's more your vibe, Warriors is more of my vibe.
Says who? But I do like the Freakensteins. I like this. This is cool. I'm going to check them out. Thank you, Jesse. Right?
Here's his band Dark Cell, which I've listened to. I listened to one song he sent me a link for, and it was actually pretty good.
Cool. What part
Yeah.
of Australia is Jesse from?
Jesse is from South Brisbane.
Oh, okay.
And
well, good day, and thank you. I was just there. I love your country. It's awesome.
Stickers.
Well, damn, we have fans. We have friends. I like to call them friends. From all over
I
the
like
world.
to call them friends as well until they get too close. Then it's like, back off, fan.
Yeah.
You know.
But this is awesome. I'm going to read these, lying in bed.
That's about all I need to hear about that.
Yeah. So this is awesome. Thank you, Jesse. I really appreciate that. It's awesome. Thank you.
And let's see. We had just a letter that was thrown in from James Arendt. James Arendt. He threw in with when he sent an envelope to get stickers. He said, "Thank you for everything you guys do. You guys rock. Sincerely, James Arendt." And just wanted to share that because he was nice enough to write a little letter. And then,
aren't you glad you said James?
Why?
His last name's Arendt. His first name's James. Aren't you glad?
Oh, took me a second.
See what I did there?
And here's another letter that came with a sticker request. Sean and Chris, first, most important of all, congratulations on 24 episodes of killer content. Well, it's 27 now, my friend.
Boom.
That's how long it's been since you've been gone. I believe it is safe to say there is truly not another horror podcast available that involves two individuals with the extensive experience and backgrounds you both possess in the genre. I like that.
That is a bullseye.
Yeah,
right
he nailed it right there. I'm 62 and my wife is 54, and while she's followed my interest in horror, primarily the Halloween Michael Myers franchise, at least the good ones, and rock music, primarily Kiss, we've done 6 of their cruises and have attended tons of concerts. Your podcast has seemed to increase her interest in horror like nothing else she's been exposed to previously. Well, hello, milady.
Well, hello.
Coupled with both of you being Kiss fans, it's been the perfect storm to pique her interest in your podcast, and she literally watches The Thing with Two Heads from start to finish. Kudos to the both of you.
Wow.
Question for you. Have you seen the original made-for-television movie, The Night Stalker, with Darren McGavin from 1972? Hell yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes.
While I know it was followed up with the Night Strangler TV movie and ultimately a year's worth of Night Stalker TV series, there was something about the original movie at the time. McGavin was perfect for the role of the television reporter Carl Kolchak, surrounded by a cast of television staples who played the I don't believe in vampires role to perfection as well. And the actor who portrayed the vampire, Janos Korzeny, was scary as hell. In my opinion, it is one television horror movie that stands the test of time even today. By the way, it garnered the viewership record for most watched television movie of its time. An unbelievable 48% of the Americans watching television that night were watching The Night Stalker.
That's the night I watched it.
I don't know if I saw it on its premiere.
I did. I saw it that night. I was so excited, and it scared me, and it was awesome, and it got me hooked on Kolchak, the Night Stalker. So
well, I was only 2, so I don't think I was fired up. Not yet. Anyway, if you've seen it, would love to hear your take on it. Keep up the outstanding work. Randall and Carolyn Hedrick Topeka.
You didn't have to say how old you were. You didn't have to throw that out there. You did that. That was just, you just threw that out there. I was 2.
I mean, you were like, you're a teenager. You're enjoying it. I understand. See? Got both.
There you go.
Yeah. Got
there you go.
The whole series and then the standalone of the films. Yeah, I was a big fan. I would have loved to have met Darren McGavin. I was a big fan of his.
Yeah, he was amazing. Everything he did was great.
So thank you for that. Last thing we're going to get to before we get to some of these questions and just chitter chatter about whatever we've been watching lately, is it's been so long since I've received these. I can't remember exactly who sent us these.
Here we go.
Affy Tapple, a bushel of apples, ale with apple juice, caramel, and peanuts.
Oh, you had me until you said peanuts. You had me.
So
peanut flavored things that are not actual peanuts, they actually kind of make me almost throw up.
Oh, well, if you do, make sure you don't leave frame.
You want to see that shit?
Oh yeah.
So are we going to try this right now?
Dude, we are going to do this. I mean,
6% by volume alcohol. Okay.
Is that much? That's not much, right?
It's not much, no.
Okay, let's.
Oh, because you don't drink, huh? You're gonna have
really.
one sip of this and you're gonna get shit faced.
I don't know.
I hope so. I've seen you drunk. It's very rare, but I have seen it. I actually got you drunk.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. But you were the next day. I think we've talked about this.
Yeah.
The next day
was not happy with you.
You were not happy with me, and you were not happy with anything. But we had a good time. You actually unlike most people, you get quiet when you get drunk. You get quieter, actually. And you just sit there and be like,
okay.
And I can't tell if you're happy or sad or annoyed or gonna get sick or constipated. I don't know what it is, but then when you do, then you're a little more jovial than you usually are. You're pretty jovial, but a little more. I think that was the same night that James was
angry,
and you were you were really concerned about that. I remember that.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, back to this.
All right, let's try it.
Affy Tapple, the original caramel apple. Now, is this a beer? Is this a
It
cider?
says ale. It says an ale. Is an ale a beer?
Ale. Yes. Oh
Okay.
God, I'm afraid of this.
I know, me too.
All right.
Gotta smell it.
Smell it oh God, the smell.
It smells like beer.
No, it doesn't. It smells like it doesn't.
Oh, wait. I smell some funky caramel.
Yeah, there's like a funky peanut caramel thing going on. I could throw up right now, you guys. I could at least dry heave, maybe. This could be bad.
You ready?
Yeah.
I wish I could remember who sent this. I feel really bad.
I feel bad too, because I thought we were going to talk about it. We're doing it for them.
Was it Mike Johnson? Who was it? I can't remember, but whoever sent this, put a comment, say it was me. Remember, damn it. I mean, I could probably go back and watch the episode where we talked about it, but you were in Australia.
Right. Okay.
Well, I don't have the patience to watch our shows.
Sorry, we forgot who sent it. I apologize, but whoever sent this, comment below. Take credit for what's about to.
Here we go.
All right.
Oh, that is weird. That is weird. Really sweet.
You know what the worst part about it is?
You want another drink?
I want my mom. It's the peanut is the aftertaste, which is what you don't want. Because it won't go away.
That is weird, man.
I have to do it again, don't I?
I did too. I'll do one more.
Oh God, the aftertaste. Oh,
it gets better. No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
That's pretty terrible. Where is this from? What country is this made in? Was this a U.S. thing?
It's probably a U.S. thing because it tastes like shit.
Illinois. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Lake Zurich, Illinois.
Woo. Okay.
All right. Well, congratulations on making a putrid beverage. I love how they have a government warning, alcoholic beverage. You shouldn't drink alcohol. You shouldn't have this taste in a can. That should be the warning on the can.
Yeah.
Wow, that was.
You're gonna have a hard time polishing that.
That's done. That's going. Sorry, buddy. Whoever sent that, that's going down the sink. Oh God. So keep the can though. The can's festive.
It's a cool can. God, it really has a.
It's. I want my mom, and not even the mom that I have. The mom that just a general comforting mom, anyone's mom.
I feel like I need a piece of gum or something.
No, but I can't stop drinking.
I stopped.
Yeah, all right. Oh God, the peanut. It's the peanut. It's so gross. Who puts peanut in a beverage? Are there other beverage flavored peanut things? Peanut flavored beverages? Right? There's a reason.
But yeah. I almost feel like you can taste salt too.
Like it tastes like death. It tastes like death ass. Like if death had an ass, it tastes like death's ass.
This is what it tastes like. It tastes like if somebody took a caramel apple, stepped on it, and then took the remains of that caramel apple and scraped it into a bucket with like a day-old beer and squished it around, and then
a piece of human feces with peanuts in it.
Yeah. Well, it was a caramel covered apple with peanuts on the apple.
Oh.
That's what I was thinking.
Oh.
So have you watched anything
recently?
On from that. Watched anything recently? Anything that you want to talk about?
I'm just trying to think if I'm going to throw up or not. I'm not kidding you. I'm serious. Okay. Yeah, I watched, I don't know if we talked about it. I started watching that Kiefer Sutherland series. Did we talk about this?
24.
No. The one, it's called Designated Survivor or something.
Okay.
It's the one where he played a Congress member or somebody in Congress or someone in the government. And it's about when the president goes and speaks in front of the House or whatever, when the president does a certain thing, they have what's called a designated survivor, where they take one of the congressmen or somebody in the government and they put him in a room and lock him in there in case anything happens to the president or something during this thing. This person is automatically the president of the United States. And so what happens is Kiefer Sutherland's this guy. I'm gonna throw up. The Capitol building explodes. It's bombed and the president dies and like all of Congress gets killed and everything. And he's thrown into being the president of the United States.
So I'm assuming the vice president had to have died too then.
Yes, the vice president's dead too, and Speaker of the House is dead. Everyone's dead. So he becomes president of the United States by proxy. And so they take him and they whisk him away and suddenly, they throw him into it and he has no experience whatsoever. And it's kind of got a 24 vibe, but it's really cheesy, but it's really entertaining. And Kiefer Sutherland mumbles through the whole thing. You can't really open his mouth and talks like this through the whole thing, but it's still entertaining. It's not a good show, but I couldn't take my eyes off it and watch a bunch of episodes because you don't expect anything from it. And it's not a genre thing. You're not picking it apart, and it's pretty easy to watch. It's so non-threatening, but interesting. And they put a cliffhanger at the end of every episode. And it's I don't know why, but I'm into it. It's a terrible show, but I love it. So,
well, usually you'll describe something you've been watching. You've just given me zero reason to care about that show.
It's pretty good. It's not, you'll hate it. You'd hate it.
Yeah.
But I like that kind
terrible.
of political thriller kind of thing. I have a thing for that. I don't know why. I just do.
Yeah. There were a lot of comments of people giving me shit for not finishing Psycho Gorman.
Oh, I almost watched that last night. Almost. I'm going to probably watch it tonight.
I got another 10 minutes into it. So I'm gonna chip away at it like a stone.
The other night we sat there and we were about to watch it because we were talking about it, and then Stephanie goes, "Well, let's watch the trailer." So we watched the trailer, and at first I was like, "Oh God," and then I kind of went, "All right, I kind of get it. All right, it's kind of I get it. It's funny," and it reminded me a little bit of like Hobo with a Shotgun kind of vibe.
Which is a movie I don't like, but
I love Hobo with a Shotgun. Oh, I love it. Yeah. It's so funny. So I'm going to probably watch that tonight, but go on. You watch 10 more minutes and what happened?
I turned it off.
Still not buying it. Still can't get into it.
No, I am going to finish it just like because I have to, but that's about as much as I could deal with.
Well, that being said, I started watching the Banana Splits. I got not even 10 minutes into it. I turned it off.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
It's far superior to the Psycho Gorman, in my opinion.
No, I doubt that.
I
Maybe.
so. But, there could have been the fact that I was a Banana Splits fan as a kid. So I have a nostalgic attachment to it.
Right.
So.
I was too. I just thought it was, for a Banana Splits fan, I would think you would go, oh, this is terrible.
Well, you watch Banana Splits, the original, and you go, oh, this is terrible, even as a Banana Splits fan. I mean, it wasn't a good show, but, when you were a kid, it was amazing.
Right.
Speaking of really bad movies that are amazing, I just watched a movie called Scream for Help, which was directed by Michael Winner, who did like Death Wish 1 and 2. But it is so incredibly bad that it's awesome. I mean, just watch the trailer. Anybody watching this, go look at the trailer for Scream for Help and try to tell me you don't want to watch this movie afterwards.
Michael Winner's new thriller, Scream for Help.
I'm upset because my stepfather just tried to murder my mother.
It's not as good as the trailer, but it's so ridiculously bad and poorly acted that it's kind of amazing.
Janie, please help me.
What were they doing?
Fucking. What? Yeah, you have to see it, so when I tell my mom, you can back me up.
Does it go, Scream for Help?
It was too late to scream for help.
No, it wasn't that cool.
Oh.
But it's literally about like a woman has a teenage daughter, remarries, and the good-looking younger guy that she's married to is trying to kill her. And the daughter knows it and keeps warning everybody that he's trying to kill her, but nobody believes her. And it's one of those things. It's just like,
all right.
Check it out. It's
check it out.
Scream for help. Another one I'd never seen before, but my buddy Adam the Woo recommended is Silent Rage. Have you ever seen Silent Rage?
Oh, fuck yeah. Silent Chuck Norris?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen it.
I've seen that like 100 times.
That movie's awesome.
It's awesome.
I mean, a Chuck Norris movie that's a slasher film.
Yeah. It's basically Chuck Norris versus Michael Myers. That's what they really were trying to do.
Yeah. I loved it.
It starts off good, and there's like the first like half of it's good, and then there's this lull in it. There's this section where, of course, it's when he's like, goes to bed with the scientist lady and all that stuff, and then it gets to be like, you're like, oh my god, get on with it. And then the ending is awesome, like the final fight where Chuck Norris is just relentlessly kicking the shit out of this guy.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And the comic relief with Flounder from Animal House is a little unnecessary, just kind of stupid.
Yeah, it's pointless.
The scene where he goes in and kicks the shit out of all the bikers in the biker bar is kind of rad.
It is rad. And doesn't Flounder, he gets his back broken? Doesn't the killer, he squeezes him so hard he breaks his back?
I think so, yeah.
I think that's what's supposed to happen. At least that's what happens in my head. But yeah, he goes in the biker bar. He makes Flounder go in there and go, you gotta step it up. You gotta step up and be, if you're gonna be a deputy, you gotta do it.
Also, isn't it interesting that he, like, kind of like in Halloween 4, like falls down a well at the end?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. They were like, we want to do a movie where Chuck Norris beats up Michael Myers. We got to do that somehow. Yeah.
All they needed was a cool mask. It probably, I bet you.
And he's wearing a jumpsuit.
I know
he's wearing a jumpsuit through the whole thing.
Yeah. If they had put a cool mask on him, I think it would be a well-known film for horror fans.
Absolutely.
Also, the big announcement that had a bunch of people's panties in a bunch this week was the Jeepers Creepers Reborn movie was announced, and everybody's already, trying to cancel it. But what I don't think a lot of people are realizing or reading into the articles, they're just immediately going, can't do it, he's a pedophile, blah, 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 is that he sold the rights. So he's no longer involved. So can we not have that? No, I think it's been tainted. We can't have it.
I think everyone needs to grow up and move on and stop it already
Yeah.
and let them make it. There's a really good, if anybody watches Bill Maher's new rules that he does at the very end of every one of his show he did a great bit about cancel culture and that whole thing.
Was it the recent episode or?
Yeah, it just aired yesterday. The one that aired yesterday. So, which is the 26th of February. Watch that episode. It's really good. I highly recommend it if you're struggling with that, the notion of cancel culture and all that stuff. So.
Speaking of which,
yeah,
we have to talk about Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head.
Who? What?
You haven't heard?
No.
They're now going to make Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head gender neutral. It's just now going to be Potato Head. Okay, here's the thing, all right? I'm all for equal rights. I'm all for everybody be treated the same.
Sure.
I'm all for anything moving forward. You can do that. But I'm not a fan of let's go back and change everything. I mean, it's been Mr. Potato Head for like 50 years. What are we going to do here? I mean, and here's the funny thing. They're saying, oh, well, there's still going to be a Mr. Potato Head and a Mrs. Potato Head, but we're just rebranding it as Potato Head. So my thing is, okay, who is it? Hasbro, I think, is Hasbro.
Right.
If you really care that much, then you should offer both pieces in one package.
All right.
But they won't do that.
Right.
Because they won't make as much money.
That's too much.
Hasbro, give us both male and female pieces to put on the potato, and I'll let you have your argument. But if you're still going to market it as a Mr. and Mrs. in the box and make us pay for both, then you're full of shit.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And Mr. Potato. So does that mean they're going to go back and change Mr. Ed? It's just got to be Ed.
It's just going to be Ed.
Or not even Ed. It's going to anything with Mr. or Mrs. in front of it.
That band, Mr., they're completely canceled. They're now the name of the band is now. That's the name.
Right. What about Mr. Bungle? Isn't it Mr. Bungle?
I'm going to have to call Scotty in and tell him.
It's just Bungle. Now
I'm going to say, tell Patton you're just Bungle from now on.
Yeah. Got to change it all.
Yep.
Stupid, this world we live in.
The famous Ed. The famous the Ed.
It's the famous Ed. Dumb.
Oh boy, good stuff.
Good stuff. I haven't had a lot of time to watch stuff. I got to be honest with you. I've been really busy starting a new film, and it's crazy, and it's taking up most of my time, including into the evenings. So I haven't had a lot of time to watch stuff. And when I do watch stuff, it's just to put on to fall asleep or fleeting to have in the background or something. So I haven't really concentrated on anything. And I've been still reading. So I'm reading a lot, but I do want to see Psycho Gorman. I think I'm going to watch that tonight.
I can't wait to hear what you think.
Okay.
I think you're going to be a lot more forgiving than I am.
Which is odd. Usually you're more forgiving than I am.
The little girl I can't. She's so annoying. Which I think she's good at. I think if she's acting and that's not really who she is as a person, she's phenomenal. If she's really that person, then God help her, Okay, so it sounds like you have nothing else to contribute as far as things you've watched. I did watch that. I did watch. You know what? I did watch the Netflix thing on the girl who went missing at the Cecil Hotel.
Yeah.
It was good. It was good. It's like 4 episodes, I think. It was good.
Yeah.
It's intriguing. I mean, clearly right away can pretty much determine she had, mental problems, that she had, that she had suffered from bipolar or depression or, and that's really, there is no spooky
or she went out that night or something and got drugs or drugged.
No, she killed herself. If she was just losing her shit and she went up to that water tower and jumped in, not knowing she wouldn't be able to get out, then yeah, because you're not, once you jump in that water, you're not going to be able to get back out. But all her clothes were off, so it sounds like she was having a major episode. The way she was acting in the elevator footage, looking in and out and moving her hands all weird. And
yeah, it was weird.
So
I did wait. I watched the Denzel Washington and Jared Leto. It's called The Little Things. It was meh.
No.
Meh. It's just meh. It's another Jared Leto wearing a prosthetic nose and lost a bunch of weight and talking like a weirdo. You know, he's just plays the same guy over and over again. He's boring me. You're boring me, Jared. Well, that's the other couple things that came out. There was the thing they showed the Joker from Zack Snyder's new Justice League.
Yeah, what's the story with that? Did they go shoot new stuff then?
They did. They shot a new thing with Jared. I was supposed to go do that makeup and I couldn't do it. I was busy, but yeah, they shot a new sequence or something for that with him and put that in there. So I'm actually curious about that, just to see it. I don't know.
Well, it's kind of like, okay, now we're admitting that our Joker kind of sucked, so we're doing a Joker everybody likes.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, kind of. I mean, and then I saw the trailer for the new Mortal Kombat. Did you see that?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like CGI blood gag kind of crap, but it looks fun. Yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of the game. I thought the movies were garbage, but this one, I mean, if you're gonna go just balls out violence, I'm in.
It looks like the movie, like the dated older movies, but with CGI violence. Like it looks the same. I was looking at it going, is this the same thing? And then you see all the CG and the violence and you're like, oh, okay, they added that in. But it didn't look that different. You know what I mean? Yeah. They didn't do like a gritty reimagining of it or whatever. But
my complaint is no Johnny Cage. Really? They left out Johnny Cage. I love that character. They did.
Oh, they did.
They confirmed that they did.
Oh,
yeah. Huh. They have a new character that's Johnny Cage-ish.
That's his name, by the way. That's the name of the character.
Johnny Cage-ish.
Yeah.
So let me go through some of these questions. Some of these questions were from a few episodes ago, so I just want to get through them. I don't want people to think we're ignoring them. I won't be ignored. That's my role. What is it? What's that movie?
Fatal Attraction.
Fatal Attraction. What is it? What is his name? I won't be ignored. Dan. Yeah, that's right.
I won't be ignored, Dan.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Kevin Wrightson said, got the stickers today, Sean. Thank you. Love the show, guys. Look forward to every episode. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
RC Dub said, in my opinion, the Zucker-Abrams Zucker-proof spoof comedies, not Zucker-proof, Zucker spoof comedies, sequel Hot Shots Part D is a better movie than Hot Shots. A lot of people said that when we were talking about comedies, sequels being better than the original.
Okay.
Duke Fisticuffs said, thank you guys for such an awesome show. Question for Christopher. What was the first makeup / creature you designed that was made into an action figure? And do you collect all the figures of your designs like the 2018 Myers that you have? On the same note, I'm going to expand on that question. First mask as well that was made out from something you did.
I do collect figures of stuff if I'm so lucky enough for them to come out with stuff. Yes, I do have a couple different versions of the 2018 Myers. I have those pop figures. I think I have 7 of those of makeups that I've done. They've done a bright one. They did Killer Croc. They did a Nebula. They did Twisty the Clown. They did Pepper from American Horror Story. They did Papa Legba from American Horror Story. They did, there's another one. I have like 6 or 7 of those Myers and masks. They have a Pepper mask. They have a Twisty mask. They have a Killer Croc mask. It's terrible.
But can you remember the very first figure that was like, holy shit, I've made it? My Creation's an action figure.
I think it was. It's not totally my creation because,
but something you worked
on. It was Marv from Sin City.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. I think I was like, oh my goodness. I might be forgetting one before that, but that's one I was like, oh my god. Oh, Fat Bastard from Austin Powers 3, I think, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That was one. Those were around the same time. So
do you own all those?
Yeah, I do own all those. Yeah.
Special Ed said, fellas, thank you for another round of quality content. And for the record, I've always thought Major League 2 was better and funnier than the first film, which is also a very funny movie. Do you agree with that?
No, Major League 1's far superior.
Okay, I don't know either film. I'm not a baseball guy at all.
I'm not.
Which is also a very funny movie, but part 2 is more quotable to me. Chris disagrees. Guys, I'm curious what your take is on Pet Sematary 2. I've always appreciated Mary Lambert's direction after achieving everything she wanted with the first film. Clancy Brown makes the movie, though. His performance kills me with every watch. P.S. I recently interviewed Lauren Marie Taylor from Friday the 13th Part 2, and she was such a blast to talk to. She appreciated me asking her about Neighbors. Oh, yeah, I forgot she was the daughter in Neighbors. Mm-hmm. With that movie being a favorite amongst you guys, having her on would be a really fun episode. Will you take that in consideration? Pet Sematary 2 is pretty terrible.
Yeah.
Although it has its moments of charm, I agree. Clancy Brown is great in it, and no brain, no pain,
Yeah, I have a lot of friends that worked on that.
Steve Johnson.
I think I started working there. Was I there during that, working on another movie or something? I think, but I just remember they were trying so hard to make it less of a Stephen King thriller and more of like an 80s gore movie, adding more makeup effects to it and stuff like that. And Ed Furlong, right? That's Ed Furlong.
Yeah, Eddie Furlong. I remember when that movie came out, I went to the old LA Comic-Con they used to have monthly at the Shrine Auditorium.
Yeah.
Where I used to buy a lot of my bootleg VHS tapes. And Steve Johnson was there with Clancy Brown promoting the movie. And I have some pictures I'll share from that. I remember Steve brought the animatronic bust of the bully kid who gets electrocuted. He brought that. I took pictures of that. And I have a picture of me with Clancy Brown that day. Oddly enough, wearing a Mr. Bungle shirt, since we happen to die. Now I'll have to crop out the Bungle,
put
the
tape
Mr.
over
part.
the Mister. Yeah.
But I'll show those pictures. You get to see me with my long hair.
Nice.
Matt Lucas said, hey, Sean and Chris, thank you for another awesome episode. I look forward to many more. Sean, I'm the one who sent you some photos of my horror collection with the stickers you sent me, and I also put a few on my car. Also, every now and then, I hear you say a name in the comments, live free or die. That's the New Hampshire state motto, where I live. Okay. One last thing. Do you or Chris think you could ever get Greg Nicotero or Tom Savini on the podcast? Yes.
Yes.
Around the Fur Breton said, Sean, thanks for the stickers, dude. I'm going to slap 1 or 2 of these on some signs around town. Gotta rep the best duo and show on the internet right now. Chris, beware of the meat sweats from down under. So, did you have any meat sweats when you were in Australia?
I didn't eat a lot of meat while I was there. I'm trying to get off the meat because I'm noticing when I eat red meat, I think it's a sodium thing or something. I don't know. I have a bad reaction to it. I still can't forget that night in the drive-in with you. I thought I was going to die. I was this close to making you take me to the hospital.
Well, what was really bizarre is that was kind of the first time you and I really hung solo. And I was like, man, this guy's got issues. What's wrong?
I knew that's what you were thinking. I knew it. I knew it. And I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, this is really the first time we're intimately hanging out together. And here I am about to have a heart attack. I thought I was going to die. It's because you took me to that barbecue place and I ate so much fucking red meat.
So good.
Yeah.
It was so good. Cliff Harris said, Sean, thanks for taking the time to even make that video with Robbie Kiger. And as always, I appreciate the effort you put into making these videos. You seem like such a stand-up guy with a ton of patience. Sean, can you highlight some of your favorite vinyl from Waxworks records that you own? I think my favorite release Waxworks did was that really buff deluxe Warriors box set that they put out that came with the patch, replica patch and everything. I think that's my favorite. Also the Thing box set that goes, comes apart and it down the middle. That one's pretty cool too. Those are my faves. Do you have a fave?
I don't have a fave. I have to look through. The Thing one is great.
Yeah.
I mean, anything with the Thing is great.
Strum and Skull said, "Hello, Sean. Can you give the audience a view of your movie collection? Does Chris have a movie collection as well? And do you alphabetize them?" Okay. Well, you can see some of it right there. I mean, that's some of it.
Look at that.
And yes, I do alphabetize because I'm a weirdo.
Well, you got to, because when you're going to search for stuff, you got to, so you know where it is.
Are you a Brian Regan fan at all?
The
stand-up comedian?
Meh. I mean,
he has a new Netflix special that I just watched that dropped yesterday, and he does a whole thing about alphabetizing, mainly his books, and it's pretty funny. It is a pretty funny bit.
Brian Regan. Yeah,
Brian
check
Regan.
it out. I do have a movie collection. I put it kind of all away though, because I found that I wasn't tapping into it as often as I usually do, and I needed room for other stuff, and I need a bigger house so I can have my movie collection out. But I don't pull those out. I watch a shit ton of streaming, and I own a lot of stuff on computer and my television, and I wanted to make room. There's like room for CDs, like there's a wall of CDs and albums and stuff that I have. So yes, I had quite the collection. I had quite the Laserdisc collection for a while.
As did I. Fear the Juggalo said, "Hey guys, thanks for answering the Victor Salva question, honestly." Okay, it's been a while, so I don't remember what it was, but I have an idea. "Another quick question for you both. Do you remember the short-lived TV show It's Your Move, starring a young Jason Bateman? The episode,
I do, yeah.
The episode Dregs of Humanity, if you do remember it. Do you remember being on the West Coast? We never got to see part 2 because of a plane crash on the news. As always, guys, keep up the great content, and thank you for keeping me entertained. Also, maybe a long shot, but is there any chance of having Buckethead on and talking Texas Chainsaw with him? That would be epic." Well, clearly you've been holding something in for a long time that I want to see this episode 2 of. I don't recall that, but somebody get this man a copy of episode 2 of Dregs of Humanity from It's Your Move. And I don't know Buckethead, but I would have him on the show if he wanted to do it.
Yeah.
But I do not know him.
I don't know him either.
T. Heidelman said, "Hey gents, first off," I didn't do the hand thing. "First off, Sean, thanks for getting the pronunciation of my last name correct a few weeks back. Also, it's an honor to have a signature accent inflection." See, he likes it. Or whatever it's called, a la Colin Murdy or Boogeyman Ben, though maybe without the salute. See, I did it. Anyway, thought I'd chime in with a comedy sequel that's better than the original. I'd say A Shot in the Dark, written by William Peter Blatty, is better than The Pink Panther by a mile. In fact, any of the Peter Sellers Inspector Clouseau films are better than the first one, which is more of a romantic comedy caper with David Nevin.
I'll give you that.
Consistent franchise outside the Rambo series. Rocky is pretty good in terms of 70s. Have you seen that last Rambo though? I mean, the newest one,
the one where he's in a barn and has all the tunnels under his house and shit. Yeah,
that was rough.
That was rough.
Romero's original Dead series, yeah, of course. Looking forward to the Tom and Barbara interviews. I met them both at HorrorCon, and they are both the tops. Tom, and I know Barbara is Cramden. Who's the Tom?
Tom Atkins.
Oh, yeah. Well, that one happened already. I've seen you there too, Sean, but you disappeared before I had a chance to say hi. Maybe one day if we ever get past this Captain Trip shit and life returns to a semblance of normality. Agreed. That's the stand reference there for all those who have no idea what he's talking about.
Yeah, I give you that. The Pink Panther movies, yeah, absolutely. Those got progressively a little better and more entertaining for sure. Didn't think of that one. Good pull out of the hat there. And Rambo and Rocky, did he say?
Yeah. The Rocky ones, even the bad Rockies aren't bad.
Yeah.
You know?
There's no easy way out. You know that song? There's no shortcut home.
Okay.
All right.
Mixie Horror and Pop Culture said, thank you, Sean and Chris, for this awesome episode. All the episodes are great and fun to watch. On the subject of movie sequels or as a franchise, I would say all 5 Dirty Harry films are really good. Also, check out It's All For You Demon Rick, his YouTube channel, super rad channel. Yeah, I've seen his channel and I've watched some of his videos. Yes. I subscribe. So, you know,
you
what
subscribe.
more can I do? I subscribe.
Are you drunk from that 2 sips of
Dude, I am so candy appled right now.
I subscribe. I subscribe.
I subscribe.
I have to check out that gentleman's YouTube channel.
It's All For You Demon. Oh yeah. So
is that what it's called?
Yeah, that's his channel. Yeah.
Okay.
Lucas K. Oh, what?
Not all Deadpool or Dirty Harry movies are good. Deadpool wasn't very good.
It's all right.
It's okay. I mean, I think The Enforcer is Dirty Harry. You can't beat Dirty Harry.
Deadpool's the one that has Jim Carrey as Axl Rose, right?
Yeah.
That was not the greatest casting.
Not so much. No.
Lucas K. Question for Chris at the end. Thanks, guys, for answering my question about your favorite movie franchises. It's tough because once a series gets past like 3 entries, it becomes more quantity over quality. Personally, I love all 4 Lethal Weapon films and the Mission Impossible franchise. I think gets better and better with each entry. Thanks, Sean, for the stickers. And Christopher, are you crazy? A man in a really nice camper wants to put our song on the radio. Give me a pin. I'm singing. You're singing. We're all singing. He should get the reference.
We're all signing. We're all singing.
Oh, I thought it said singing.
I'm signing. You're signing. We're all signing. That's a That Thing You Do reference.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. That's what's his face that I can't stand. Steve Zahn says that.
Steve Zahn. Yeah. I did a movie with him and he was the nicest guy. He was so nice and so cool.
Here's the thing. He seems like a nice guy, but he plays the same character in every movie. And I kind of got sick of it.
Okay.
You know, it's always that kind of, oh, yeah, wow, I'm kind of dumb, but I'm funny kind of guy, you know. And just,
Can you do that again for me?
Did I just nail Steve Zahn or what? Was that just like, it was like you were talking to him again?
It was. I was like, Steve?
Yeah. I don't, you know, it's one of those, I don't know. I just, when he pops up in a movie, it's like, oh, there's that character again. It's just that's it. All right. Let me get to, let's see. Oh, the Ever Scathed. Yeah, he said, the new episode was a lot of fun. I'm surprised you guys never heard of Dunkaroos. LOL. The Robbie Kiger interview was definitely unique, but he had a lot of cool stories about young Hollywood in the 80s. Right before the interview, Sean cut in for a brief setup and explanation about Robbie and why it was done this way. While you were explaining, I noticed the black goat head sitting on the table behind you in the background. That looks super cool. What is that goat head and where's it from? I don't know what the goat head you're talking about. That one. There. That's from my movie, The Black Waters of Echo's Pond. Times 5.
Of Echo Pond.
That's going to be the sequel. The Black Waters of Echo's Pond times 5.
Times 5.
See, everything times 5 is better.
Everything times 5. Yeah, of course. Even Affy Tapple times 5.
Oh, Jesus Christ. 5. Minus 5, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Barlow's Boutique said, hey guys, Frankie Carter here. Did you notice in the Return of the Living Dead, the zombie says send more cops, had a Civil War uniform on? Great episode as usual. Wonder if you guys liked Never Hike Alone from Womp Stomp Films. And if you haven't watched it yet, would give it a viewing and let us know. Probably the best fan film ever. There is a version with both NHA and Never Hike in the Snow edited together along with the music video Disappear on YouTube. Thanks, guys. I never noticed he was wearing a Civil War uniform.
You need to do that.
And I just don't watch fan films.
I don't either. They're hard. They're hard to watch. I don't want to. I appreciate the work and dedication and passion that goes into them. But I 9 times out of 10, I'm like, oh, God, really? That's the Friday the 13th one.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard good things. I know they've been promoting the shit out of it. I just kind of feel like I don't know, man. It's just like I feel like I don't really want to invest my time in them because they're not going to go anywhere. I mean, it's not like part of the franchise that I need to follow. It's not ever going to be a part of the franchise.
Maybe some of them are like missing pieces that fall in between movies that we know so well. Wouldn't that be cool? If you were smart, that's what you should do. If you're going to make a fan film, make a piece of the story or piece of something that you would fit in between 2 of the movies or something.
Daniel Caruso. Thanks again for another awesome episode. I agree with David. Sean, you are the gold standard for locations, and the interviews and special features are the reason I buy multiple copies of the same movies. Chris, you are one of the most talented artists and a big inspiration for all of us. This rare interview with Robbie was awesome. I always wondered what Toby from Children of the Corn was up to these days. It was really cool.
Wow, thanks. That's really, really nice of you.
There was more to that. It was really cool finding out his hand was in the E.T. poster. My question for you guys is, did you see the Watchmen series? And if so, your thoughts. Thanks again. You guys are awesome. I've heard good things about the Watchmen series, but I didn't watch it. I did not watch The Watchmen.
I didn't watch the Watchmen series.
Although I loved the movie.
I did too. I enjoyed the movie. A lot of people bag on that movie. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it.
It's a great movie.
Yeah. I did not watch the series. It's so funny when the more people ask us, did we watch this or did I watch that? And I realize that I haven't seen anything. So anyway.
Hungry Eyes. He said more of a recent one, so I won't sound as cool, but 22 Jump Street he thought was better than the original 21 Jump Street. Although the whole movie was about how much sequels suck, so I'm not sure that counts. And yes, I do have to watch the Nightmare remake again. I believe in giving second chances to movies, not people. They're hopeless. Okay.
All right. I did not see the second one of 22 Jump Street. I saw the first one. It was okay. My favorite scene was when they were tripping on drugs and their faces were slowly turning into different things in cartoon. That murdered me. So funny. But anyway, go ahead.
TCE author said, you don't have to watch the first Slumber Party Massacre to watch the sequel. They make some references to one of the girls surviving the first movie, but that's it. It's a wild movie.
All right.
Okay.
I'll check that out.
Boogeyman Ben.
Boogeyman Ben. I don't know.
You butcher it every time.
What's the song? What am I butchering?
The Boogeyman Ben come around the bend. The Boogeyman Ben.
See, you have a
Boogeyman Ben
song. I'm singing a different song.
You're trying to come up with something that's going to trump my Boogeyman Ben song, but it's not, because my song rocks.
It's not. Just mine is more of a Nick Cave version.
Anyway, Boogeyman Ben said, just wanted to thank you both for this. I have had a really hard time with this whole quarantine / isolation / lockdown that continues and is closely approaching a year since it began. I've been working out of my home for over 11 months now, and the isolation is getting to me at this point. I've had serious anxiety issues. The show has really helped calm my stress and anxiety. You guys are the best.
Dude. Relax. You got this.
Don't do it.
You'll be okay. You'll be okay. I understand it's tough. I understand it's a long road. It's a long road when you're on your road. That's the Rambo. Remember the first blood, the first blood. the First Blood.
I do. The first
you can
First
cut
Blood.
into that. You can cut into that.
First Blood 1.
First Blood 1. Hang in there, dude. You got this. I know it's long. It's monotonous. It's crazy. Go out for a walk. Breathe. Get some air. Do a couple push-ups. Eat some comfort food. Have some macaroni and cheese. Occasionally partake in a beverage. Read a book. Read an inspiring book. Watch an inspiring film. There's a lot of people out there that are in the same position as you are. You're not the only one. You're not alone. You'll be okay. You'll come out the other side and you'll look back on all this and go, oh man, did that suck? But you're going to be all right. So hang in there.
I'm glad you're not my therapist.
Why?
Right.
What was wrong with that?
I don't know. That's a lot of shit to do. You just gave me anxiety thinking I got to do all that. Bob Calderon said, Dear Sean and Christopher, great show with Norman Cabrera. Sean, can I ask Christopher? No, you can't. I'm sorry. But I can ask him for you. If he would make the miniature Michael Myers head on a stand, I would be interested in buying one. Thanks for having great shows. Actually, he put, thanks for having art shows, Bob Calderon. What's the story with that? Are you going to make those available? People want them.
I don't know. It's a lot of work. If I said that I'm going to make them for people, that's all I'd be doing is making those. And I don't have time to do that.
He ain't got time for you, Bob.
What I was going to do with it was try to hit up Miramax and get the license to mass produce them and then have them made.
And why not?
I haven't done that yet.
Quit messing around doing stupid shows like this and get that done.
I know.
So we're going to jump into the Andi interview.
Delightful, lovely young woman.
Very lovely young lady. And it's a great interview. And
it is.
I think it really gets a cool kind of behind the scenes look of you guys talking about making the film and everything, which was kind of a cool thing to hear about.
Andi is lovely. It was lovely talking with her, and you guys are going to enjoy it. Good night, everybody.
All right. Well, anyway, here's Andi.
All right, here's Andi.
Enjoy it. Good morning.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hi, Andi. How are you?
Oh, good. How are you guys doing? It's good to see your faces. I feel like it's been ages.
It has. It has.
Yeah.
It really has. It's been way too long. We wrapped the second one on Halloween, like 2019, right?
Yeah.
It's like a year and a half. I miss you guys.
Oh. You don't miss me. You don't have to. You miss him. You barely know me. Come on.
Hey, you come down and you hang out, and it's fun. I think I've met you in person a whole one time, but it was a lovely dinner we had.
It was.
Oh, obviously made a huge impact.
It did.
Clearly. Never heard from her again. Clearly.
Inaccurate. I'm here. Am I not?
You are. Thank you for coming and thank you for doing this. Really.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Our little show that we've been doing that we created because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Did you really?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I didn't know that. I thought you guys had done this for a little bit.
Well, this is gonna be like episode 26, so it's
I guess it's been like a year.
It grew really fast. I mean, it kind of blew up. It was one day, Chris, we were just hanging out, and he just out of nowhere said, "We should do a podcast." Okay. And it was just because it was something I've always thought about doing, but I didn't want to do it alone. And Chris would have been a great choice, but I'm like, oh, Chris is too busy. He's not gonna want to deal with a stupid podcast. I would never even ask him. And then he's well, Sean has nothing going on in his life. I'll talk to him.
Well, he's got ample free time.
So yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and it's got legs, and it's been kind of crazy. The popularity of it has been.
It's not shocking. I mean, if you two have met you two, you're quite charismatic and lovely and knowledgeable about all things
how
horror.
Sweet are you? Wow. I wish I could meet you. I wish I could meet you. I really
It's
do.
it's an experience. It's an
Is it?
experience. Yes.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. It's
Chris knows
How have
it's
you
really
been? What have you been
life-changing.
up to? Tell us what you've been up to, what you've been doing, what's going on with you.
Not too much. I mean, I can't believe that we're approaching a year of this semi lockdown. I mean, I know things are now opening a little bit more, um, but otherwise, I mean, really been here. I have a place in Connecticut, so I've like luckily like escaped the city just because New York City right now is kind of a very depressing place. So I feel very fortunate that I'm up here. And yeah, just like meetings, auditions. I've been working on some projects with a few buddies of mine, developing a pilot, and then getting the rights to write a feature about this woman's life. And so I've just been kind of trying to fill my time and do the best I can. Some of the projects I had that were lined up were more indie. They had a lower budget. So they ended up kind of falling through with COVID. I mean, hopefully, knock on wood, they circle back once kind of things are a little bit easier to shoot, just because it's so expensive to shoot things right now.
Yeah, right.
So we just kind of I've been just trying to like enjoy the downtime as much as I can. And I'm really fortunate because I was able to actually get this movie that's coming out on next Friday, Sun. I was able to film that. Like we wrapped about a week before New York shut down. And if we had not gotten it off, I mean, I don't think we would have finished it. We had all of our filmmakers are European for the most part. Our producers, we have a couple that live in the States, but for the most part, they're all overseas. And I feel like we dodged a big bullet. But that's been like a huge creatively fulfilling experience that has kind of kept me sane a little bit through this like downtime of COVID.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, the trailer looks great. It has got from what I'm seeing, it's got like a Hereditary sort of vibe, which I love. I'm a big fan of that movie, and I love those kind of psychological thrillers.
Yeah, it's cool. They went a route because I mean, it's definitely I would say like a psychological horror thriller kind of hodgepodge of a movie, which is really fun. And it was cool because when I saw it, they leaned pretty heavily into the thrillery side as well as meshing with the horror, and it blends really, really well. So it's a fun movie. I mean, I had signed on to do it a long time ago. I signed on, I believe, right before, it was like a month before the 2018 Halloween came out. And it took a really long time to like get it together officially and get it off the ground. But I've been really excited about it, and it was so much fun to make, and working with Emile Hirsch. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Ivan Kavanaugh. Did you see The Canal in 2014?
No.
It's a really cool horror movie. You guys should see it.
Canal.
It's kind of in the same vein, like psychological. It premiered at, I believe, Tribeca Film Festival, but it's a really cool film. And so Ivan Kavanaugh is this Irish filmmaker that is just brilliant. I mean, the way he can just create an atmosphere is next level. Like all of his films just like ooze atmosphere, and his storytelling is really next level. And so it's been, I was really looking forward to filming that with him and making that kind of come to life. And then once Emile Hirsch signed on, that was such a huge get and such a exciting thing. I've been a huge Emile Hirsch fan for quite some time, and I know David had worked with Emile and is also quite a fan. But yeah, so it's a cool thing. We're excited about it. I'm excited for it to come out, and to just, it's nice to have something come out so quickly.
Yeah.
It's also kind of a refreshing transition from you going from playing a teenager to playing a mother. Like I quickly made that leap. You're not typecast in that sort of teenage girl role for a while that most scream queens get stuck in.
Yeah, I mean, I've always had a tough time getting cast as teenagers. I mean, I moved to New York when I was 17, and I was going out for all like 16, 17-year-olds, and they're like, she's too old. I'm like, I'm 17, guys. And they're like, well, you don't seem it. So it's always been an interesting journey with that. But Halloween was obviously such an unbelievable get, and I can't believe that I still am in shock that I had the privilege of working on these movies. But the thing that I love about this is it's kind of a nice transition role, because you see some flashbacks when she's 17 and escaping the cult, and then you see present day where she's 25 with an 8-year-old kid. So it's a really good, I think, transition where I'll still, after this, still be able to play younger roles, and I'll also be able to kind of attack more kind of mature roles, which I'm very thrilled about.
And this opens March 5th.
Yes.
Now it's going to be streaming and theaters. Is that correct?
Yeah. So it'll be on VOD, and Shudder, I know, is also is a part of this. So I don't know when it exactly hits Shudder, if it's going to be a little bit later on or if it's right away, but I'll find out soon.
That's next Friday. So yeah.
I know.
It's a week. Yeah.
But we'll get to see it soon. Yay.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm so happy for her. Yeah, that is a cool leap to go from Halloween to that, and to play that kind of role. That's really great. I'm thrilled for you, and I can't wait to see it. I did see the trailer, and I hate everything. So
I know.
So I was like, oh, that looks really good. I'm going to check that out. And plus, of course, you're in it, so I got to watch it.
Thank you. It's a fun movie, and I'm really lucky that I got to be a part of it. And it's my first like outright lead, I guess. So it was definitely a huge undertaking and a big challenge, but I feel like I did nothing but kind of grow in the process, and I can't wait for the next one.
How does it feel to be like the I guess Halloween kind of, is it putting you in the Scream Queen category? I mean, you are certainly.
I mean, that's a really high honor. So I don't know if you can say Scream, maybe a Scream princess I would be at the moment.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like maybe. Jamie's passing the mantle, just kind of like Nick was passing it to James, Jude Courtney.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of that passing the torch. So.
There is, and Jamie Lee is just, I mean, she's so wonderful and so generous and kind, and she's really had my back through this whole process and helped me. She's been such a great mentor and kind of just like guiding me through what this new crazy world of Halloween is, both on set and off set, which has been very, very helpful, because it's a whole new world that I really have never been exposed to before.
Let's jump into that world a little bit. We have some fan questions here.
Let's hear.
I have questions too. So
and Chris,
just things coming to my head.
You can talk to her about that on the next set. No, I'm just kidding. No, we'll get to yours too. Let's start with this. Is a good one. Just to kind of Maggie Matter wanted to know what your motivation for getting into acting was, and what's the inspiration that keeps you going.
That's a great question, Maggie. I had a full ride to play soccer in college. I had no kind of idea that I would act ever. And it was something that I enjoyed when I was really little. But at a certain point, when I was playing soccer at such a high level, it got to the point where I had to choose. I'm in the camp of I'd rather be really good at one thing than mediocre at a couple things. So I ended up kind of putting everything else aside and focusing really on soccer. And so then it was summer before my senior year of high school. I had done some modeling in high school that was like, I'm from the Midwest, so it was like Kohl's and Target and like very like, but it was fun. It was fun to do. And I got picked up by a modeling agency in Athens, Greece. And it was summer before my senior year, so I just turned 17. And I talked with my parents about it, and we were like, you know what, like once I go to school, I mean, both my parents were collegiate athletes. My dad played football at a Division I school, my mom volleyball at the same school. And so it's like, once you go to school, it's like, that's really your job. And so I knew that like studying abroad wasn't going to be an option. Like I wasn't going to have much ability to travel unless it was post school. So we kind of were like, you know what, let's take this 3 months as like a chance to like just kind of see the world, and who cares about the modeling aspect as much as it is just to like get out there and kind of experience a new culture and kind of soak something in that's different before I kick off the my senior year going into college. And so while I was over there, there was actually a connection. There was a guy that I had met there that was the one that kind of put acting like in my ear. My dad came with me for the first 10 days, and then he left. But when he was there, he had kind of connected with this guy, and he was the one that kind of connected me with my agency in New York, and was like, I really think that acting would be a good thing for you. And we were like, okay, buddy, like, good one. What's more stable than women's soccer? Acting. So we, we were like, whatever, let's at least like explore the opportunity. I knew nothing about really the world at all. And so I had a layover in New York anyway. I got off the plane when I was coming home, and I stopped in New York. I have family in New York, so I went and stayed with them. I went into the city. I met with one of the owners of my now agency, who I'm still with, and we just hit it off right away. And obviously, I couldn't talk about acting because I didn't really know anything about acting. So we just kind of met as people, which I feel like sometimes is the best thing that can happen. And we just really connected, and he was the one who got me training in Chicago. He's like, you know what, like, just test it out. Let's see, 1, if you can do it, 2, if you like it, and just see. So when I went back home, I studied a little bit of acting, and then I was graduating early to go down for spring season for soccer. And I only had really a couple months before I went down in January, and I fell so head over heels in love with what I was doing just in that small amount of time acting. I was working with this unbelievable coach, Catherine Gately, who happened to be close to my home. And I made kind of the rash, I guess you could say, decision to decommit from my school and go at least try in New York in January. And I was really fortunate because my coaches at the University of South Florida, which is where I had committed, were so lovely. And to be fair, I had committed early. I committed when I was a sophomore, so I'd known them for a few years at this point. They were nothing but completely supportive, and shockingly so, to be quite honest. And they were like, look, like we would still hold a spot for you. Like, there's always a place for you in the fall. If you end up like going to New York, it doesn't work out, you're not liking it, like, we can't guarantee you like any scholarship at the moment, obviously, but we'll definitely like hold a spot for you if it's something that you would be open to. And it was such a nice and kind and generous thing for them to do. But they were really lovely about it. And then I moved to New York in January as opposed to going down to school. And I have been in New York ever since. And I just kind of started pounding the pavement. It's a really tough industry. But I really feel like I don't know if I would have lasted in this industry if I didn't have all the backing I had with soccer, just because it gave me a mentality that was so kind of, I'm very annoyingly competitive for one, and 2, I don't break easily. Yeah. So it's really been, I feel like my life kind of was mounting to this now. And it's crazy that I was at like a precipice where one decision kind of changed everything and the trajectory of everything. And it was like, if I didn't make that decision, I would have missed what my life is now, you know?
It's funny that you brought that up. I'm not to interrupt you, but it's so funny that you just went for it. You're like, let's see, what stable decision should I make? Professional sports, modeling, or acting? It's like, what? And then you just followed it. And a lot of people ask actors, and a lot of people ask people in the film industry, what's the secret of success, or what did you do? How did you get there? Are there any, shortcuts that you can give to anybody? And it's funny, I find the common thread, and the reason why I bring it up is you just brought it up, is that there's this weird kind of pull that happens where you get blinders, and you just have this gravitational pull to something where everything else kind of falls to the wayside, and there is nothing else. You're just doing this, and it's like you said, it's a competitiveness and a stubbornness. Would you say to a certain extent?
Yes, 100%. I feel like this, I mean, any industry where very few people really can get to the top of the field and even work. I mean, even to be a working actor is very hard to do. Even if nobody has any idea who you are, it's very hard to be consistently working. And I definitely think that it takes it takes a certain level of stubbornness for sure. And also just putting things out of your mind. Like there's so much rejection at a certain point, you have to compartmentalize and just put it off to the side and be like, no, this is happening. And, you know, you battle like, okay, am I fully delusional, or is this like a premonition? And do I know that this is going to happen? And you have to kind of walk that line and also like police yourself, because at a certain point, I do feel like I had like a pact with some of my friends and parents to be like, at a certain point, I need you to tell me to pull out if I'm losing it, because
Right.
it can be brutal, but.
Mm-hmm. And what keeps you going? I think that was the other part of her question.
Yeah,
right?
what keeps me going
keeps you
is
doing
I
it.
think just the thing that's annoying is the passion for it, like how much I deeply love it, and the thrill that you get when you are working and when you are on set. And even aside from being on set, like whenever I'm reading scripts, whenever I'm working on material, if I'm, you know, I'm doing a short in a few weeks with some buddies of mine, and just like collaborating with like-minded creatives, you know, that is so much fun to me. And I think that's what keeps me going, is just how much I love it and how much I love storytelling and collaborating with different people.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Let's see. Frankie Carter has a question. He wanted to know, how does she feel about joining such a beloved franchise, and what do you think about the horror community? I don't know how much of that you've experienced yet, but
I haven't experienced like a crazy amount of the horror community yet.
Have you not?
I feel like
you haven't
I will
done the
in the next
conventions
few.
and stuff, have you?
I haven't really, no.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all, really. So no, I haven't really been that immersed like in the horror world. It was really only surrounding the premiere, and then obviously like anything via social media, like there is that community that is present. So the horror community, I would say my favorite thing about them is the passion that they have for what this is, and just the utter love. And I was actually talking with some guys the other day about this in particular, is horror fans have such strong opinions and they can differ so greatly, but at the same time, they're all super willing to hear each other, which doesn't happen in like the real world. And so it's such a beautiful thing that I feel like the dynamic they have, where it's, even if they don't agree with each other, they all really bond over this common thing, and they're willing to like hash it out and hear each other out. And just the passion that they have, I think is next to none. I don't think there's another group that's as passionate about a genre, or not even a genre, but just a community that's as passionate in this kind of world. So I absolutely love it. And being a part of the horror or being a part of the Halloween franchise, I mean, I grew up with Halloween like up here, you know, and I was never really the biggest horror buff, especially because I'm terrified of horror. I can barely watch them, at least like knowing the scripts I can. But I mean, whenever I go in Chris's trailer, I want to like throw up and also like stare at everything for a million hours. So I'm getting better.
That is true. You do come in, look at stuff and go, ew, and then you go, and then you stare at it. But
I bother you so much. I have to bother you just because I go in there and I'm like trying not to touch things, but also like kind of like, ooh, I kind of have to touch it. It just like you're waiting for these things to move, and they're just but amazing. They're unbelievable. Like I remember even like the ear hair that you have like perfectly in The Dead Dad is the one that I always think of. That's the one that sits in my brain in the 2018 movie where the dad's neck was snapped. His ear hair and his like trachea, you could like fully see like his like down his mouth hole into his trachea, and it was just so upsetting. But so unbelievable.
So upsetting. Well, we had that dummy. I remember I had that dummy and Miles's dummy in the chairs for the longest time, because we had nowhere to put them, so we stuck them in the chairs and left them.
And you kind of put bodies on them. You like stuffed like full bodies on them.
Oh yeah, they had bodies and everything, and they were dressed. And you guys would constantly bring people in to stare and scare. Totally. I scared the hell out of a lot of the transpo guys and people that came in to clean it and stuff. They were like,
yeah,
what the,
for sure. When my mom and dad came down to set, I actually, my mom and dad, like they of course like iconic Jamie Lee Curtis, so they are just already like so giggly and schoolgirly when they get down there. But so I was like, oh, you guys want to go? Jamie would love to meet you guys. Like, I'll take you to her trailer. She was on set the whole time. So I come to your trailer and they're expecting to like open the door and have Jamie be there. And I open the door and the dead dad staring at them. My mom almost died. I think she almost had a heart attack and like fell out of your trailer.
That's amazing.
They were so mad at me, but it was so worth it.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that stuff. That's the best part of my job is that reaction. That's why you do it. You know,
I think that it was like the thing that was the most mind blowing for me for the first one was how practical all of those visual effects were. It's like I kind of thought that a lot of it was done in post. I mean, I had never been on a film that was this heavily steeped in effects, and so seeing that like a lot of what we did, especially on the first one, was all practical. I don't know if that's the word, if that's what you would call it, but it was practical. Mm-hmm. And it was like already, you know, even stomping on Sartain's head, like we did that. And then what you see in the movie is really that. Like it's unbelievable. That was so mind blowing, and that was all your work. I'm such a fangirl of yours.
Oh, you're a sweetheart. Thank you. But I mean, going back to like Halloween, is it really registered that you're part of this legacy forever and ever and ever. This Halloween
that is
legacy.
Something that is just really mind blowing, and I feel like that hits me. The gravity of that hits me in waves, and it depends kind of on the day and where we are. One of the things that Jamie Lee said to me that has really stuck with me is just like be where your feet are, like just constantly be in the moment, because if you're not, you're going to miss it. And I'll be even just sitting in my house, and then all of a sudden it'll kind of like wash over me that I am a part of this thing that is so huge, and a community that's so loving. And it's more than just like the title of Halloween. It's so much more than that. And it's reached so many people on such deep levels, and everybody has a story about it. And everybody, even if they're not horror fans, they know the first time that they saw Halloween. And I feel like there's something really, really special about that. And even when I booked it, I knew that was something that was deeply special. But the beauty about it is that I've been able to actually understand how deeply special it is, because I could comprehend it when I first booked it, but I couldn't like feel it until, you know, the process began. And I'm kind of lucky that it's been dragged out, you know, with postponements and pushing a year for this and that, because it's been such a pleasure getting to kind of soak in every minute. And I wouldn't mind lengthening it to really have it last as long as possible, because it's so special.
Now, is there a part of you that's a little nervous that the final one, which is kind of like your senior year in high school, that it's not going to have that same vibe because of all the new COVID restrictions and everything? It seems like sets are a lot less personal. People are, you know, you didn't really experience that in Australia, Chris, because
no.
Yeah, I mean, but I've been hearing that, you know, like I was just talking with Nev Campbell about filming the new Scream, and she said it wasn't fun at all because nobody was mingling. They had to keep people away from each other, and it just didn't feel like that vibe of making a movie. You know?
We actually had a lot of our crew in Wilmington actually did Scream, and they said the same thing. And one of our, Brian Moss, who did my hair for both the first two films, he's a huge Halloween, I think, is his number one, and then his number two is Scream, of just all-time favorites. And so working on it was so iconic for him. And it was kind of what you said, like it was amazing, but it was still a bummer in a lot of ways because you don't get that same experience. In regards to the third, I mean, if I'm so lucky enough to make it out of the second one, then I think I'll just be thrilled to be on set and to kind of be with everybody one more time. You know,
Brian Moss is a huge. I love Brian.
I love him.
He couldn't look at the mask when I would bring it to set. He couldn't. It creeped him out. So he loved it, At the same time,
Totally.
he was like, I love it. I want to touch it. Or get it away from me. I can't look at it. I love it. Can I touch it? I don't want to be there. And he was so great. But he was he was genuinely a fan, but afraid of it. Like scared of it.
Yeah.
Interesting
Totally.
reaction.
He worked really hard on both of the films to try to not read the sides so that he had like some mystery going into the final product, because he just kind of wanted to like see it like a fan. But obviously he had to like know the script somewhat, but I remember it's so funny. He's like, don't tell me, but also tell me what's happening. It's like the push and pull of his like love as a fan and also like having to do his job was brutal. But yeah, he's such a lovely human being. I couldn't be more in love with that guy. We have such a special group that does this movie.
Yeah, we do. It is a very family-like.
Yeah. Even right out the gate on the first one, I feel like it was just such a bonded crew. And I know a lot of them, you know, like David and Danny David runs a pretty tight ship, and like a lot of his crew are people that he's known for a really long time, which I think helps because it's a well-oiled machine. And I mean, you know, David, his personality is just so warm and energetic and joyful, you know, that to have anyone that's like a cog in the machine that's like doesn't kind of emulate that too isn't necessarily a great fit. So I feel like he kind of already had that on lock, but mixed with all the Blumhouse people and everybody else, it felt like such a perfect merging of everyone. Plus, did you feel this way on the first one where like I felt like everyone was just fanboy or girling out the whole time we were making it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Everybody wanted to be there, and everyone was excited to be involved in that franchise and that film and what we were doing. And we're so excited. Yeah. There was a vibe of everyone fanning out every day. Like every day, like again, I remember the first day we put the mask on and the suit, and he walked out. The entire crew was like, "I can't believe it! Michael Myers is right there, and we're making this kind of movie. This is crazy!" Like and that carried on throughout the entire filming of the movie, and even then Halloween Kills, same thing. You know, it just carried through, and we were still so lucky and fortunate. And what's great about it is that translates onto the final product. When you see the movie, you could tell that everybody involved wanted to be there and loves it.
Yeah,
you know?
There's a lot of love that went into it for sure.
A lot of commitment. You're very committed to it.
Yeah,
you're very committed to your role and your character, and I can safely say that having seen both films.
Oh, have you seen the full Kills? David showed me like some bits and pieces, but nothing I saw had Carpenter's like full score in it either, which to be fair, I'm fine with because I like to hear that in the theaters.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing. It's fantastic. It's going to be great. Anyway, sorry, back to fan questions. I don't want to reveal too much.
I know. I feel like everything I'm like, okay, what am I allowed to say?
I know.
Also, I feel like the horror community figures things out. So like I feel like they know everything. So, and it's like, I don't know if it's just them asking questions or like making a comment. Yeah, like fishing.
Yeah.
But there's like been so many little bits of pieces that have come out about Kills that I don't know what's actually like hearsay and like what was so even if it's accurate, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know nothing.
The other creepy part about it is people make assumptions or they anticipate something that's actually not in the film or has nothing to do with these. But they have so much conviction towards it that it gets this weird online thing and then it becomes reality, and people actually think that's what's happening, like ridiculous stuff.
Totally.
Like, you know, Michael Myers is an android. He's an android from Halloween 3, and he's
oh my god.
You're going what?
Spoiler
where did you find this
Spoiler,
stuff?
Chris. You're not supposed to tell people that.
Oh, sorry. I have my coffee.
I'm
Fan
telling
questions.
Ryan Turek.
Let's see. Let's see. Stephen Kohler said, "Hey Andy, it's Halloween the PA from Halloween Kills." I don't. Is there a PA named?
Hi.
Do you know who this guy is?
Yeah.
He said, would you like to play a killer or would you prefer the final girl / hero?
Both. both is very fun. The protagonist and antagonist are roles that I would of course love to play. It's been a blast being the kind of final girl, so to speak, but yeah, I would love to be a James Jude Courtney.
We all aspire to be a James Jude Courtney,
right? On so many levels. He's just such a wonderful human being.
He is.
To play Michael Myers too, it's like it feels wrong. He like balances the evil of Michael because he's so wonderful.
Well, it's always the quiet, nice ones that are the most evil, I think.
Yeah, I shouldn't give him too much credit.
John Conradry said, which Halloween film is your favorite before 2018 and why? And do you remember when and where you saw the original? And I want to add to this question. Have you seen all of them? And you can, it's totally okay to say that you haven't. Because there's a lot you're not missing.
I'm waiting for her to go. I'm going to answer the question for her. She hasn't seen any of them. Not even the first one. I'm kidding.
That's a total lie. No, I've seen a few of them. So the ones I've seen are the original, the second one, and 2018. And let me tell you why though. So first of all, my favorite is the original by far. But I feel like that would be my answer even if I had seen the other ones. I mean, when I saw the original, I was in high school, but I don't even know if it really counts as watching it because I like was under a blanket the whole time and just kind of like, so I have no idea really what was going on. And I also after that like swore off horror movies because I was just like so traumatized. I also like babysat a lot. So I was like, no, can't do this anymore. But I was in high school when I saw it and I was at my friend's house in his basement and it was terrifying. That was the first time I saw it. And then I hadn't seen it again until I was going out for it. And when I watched it again, and when I also had like more knowledge of film at that point, it was mind-blowing to me how everything that John Carpenter did is pretty much what everybody has since been trying to do. And even in 1978, he did it so much better than all of them. That was the most mind-blowing thing. I was like, oh, these POV shots, these tracking shots, like this setup, this scare, like all these things that like have become commonplace in the horror community, in the horror films, and what we see were all kind of birthed by him, and still he did them better as like a just first go in 1978. I would say that was kind of my favorite thing. One of the other, were you there, Chris, when we watched the original in the theater in Charleston?
Yeah.
Before we started filming the first one, everybody, all the cast and crew got together and David and Danny rented out this big theater, or Blumhouse, right? I don't know who did it, but someone did it. And they rented out this lovely theater in Charleston and we watched it. And that was the first time I saw it in a theater setting.
Oh, interesting. So that makes sense. So was that a different experience than watching it in your friend's basement?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even just the acoustics are so different. And also it was the first time I'd watched it in a group of people that big. So I feel like that's also one of the other most amazing things about horror is like watching things together. And that entire experience is something that like should not be missed. I mean, that's part of the reason why, of course, I was bummed that Kills got postponed, but at the same time, like if there's any chance that we can watch it like as a group with each other and experience the entire thing at the same moment, like I think it's worth trying.
That's another thing that you wonder, will there be a premiere?
I know. Yeah, it's the film that Son that's coming out next Friday, it's a very weird rollout. Very weird, just because it's a lot of virtual press, and there's no real premiere. Like, how can you do a premiere? So it's kind of odd. We're technically premiering at the Dublin International Film Festival, and we did like a Q&A last week that's like pre-recorded. And it was so cute. The moderator was like, welcome, like, congratulations on your international world premiere. And we're like, thank you. Feels great.
Yeah.
It's definitely odd, but we'll see. I mean, I feel like I am a little hopeful for the fall. I feel like it's far enough away, but you never know with
I'm hopeful too. And you know, something that is interesting is there are alternatives. Sean and I went and saw the new Bill and Ted movie at a drive-in, and that was technically its premiere because Alex Winter was there. It was their premiere.
Yeah.
And it was I gotta say, I don't know why more people didn't do that over the course of this COVID thing and premiere their movie at a drive-in, because it was quite, it really still lent itself to that community, going to the movies. It was safe. Totally. Everyone was distanced. You could still see the people that were, you know, safely distanced in front of you. You see Alex Winter, the filmmakers there. They recorded a little kind of intro video that showed on the drive-in theater saying, hey, everybody, welcome to, you know, it was really great. And that's not something, I think that's something that should be considered, especially for a movie like Halloween Kills. You know, I think it would be amazing.
I agree. I mean, even the 2018 movie, it's, of course you want to see it in a theater, but that film is even more conducive than Halloween Kills to being seen at home. Like, it's like, okay, like, it's not as grand, it's not as big, it's not as all of these things that Kills is. Like, Kills is a movie that I feel like just has to be seen like on a big screen with loud sound and people.
I agree, especially IMAX, because they were planning on rolling it out on IMAX too, which
I know.
I can't wait. That's where I was like, I'm going to see it on IMAX, fuck anything else. So.
I know. Just, and if COVID's still bad, then just go like in the middle of the day.
Exactly.
No, I agree. We just have to kind of pray and not.
It's going to happen. I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling good about it.
For sure.
Brandon Gregory wanted to know, which of the two endings to 2018 did you prefer, the original or the reshot ending?
I preferred the reshot ending. But I loved so much filming the other one as well. So I feel really lucky that we got to do both, because it was so much fun to watch the showdown that kind of takes place between Lori and Michael. That was so epic to watch Jamie Lee just like throw like her and James together were just next level. That entire thing. So to watch that was just like a masterclass in professionalism and commitment and stamina. But I think that as a whole, I would prefer the one that was the one that was used, and it created a lot more tension. It was dragged out a lot more. So it was like a lot more of cat and mouse. It was a lot more anxiety inducing. I was having heart palpitations. The other one I feel like was a little bit quicker, but yeah, I would have preferred the one that was seen.
Do you recall any other scenes that were cut that you shot that didn't make it into the final?
Yeah, there were a good amount of them. There were some other ones with Dylan Arnold, who plays Cameron, and it kind of like buttons up his story a little bit after he does the notorious nacho cheese phone throw. So there was a little bit more post that, but I totally, any scene that really got cut, I kind of understand in terms of just what the movie was as a whole and kind of the story of it and what was necessary to move from point A to point B. I feel like every movie, there are lots of scenes that get cut. But again, I'm really happy that we got to film them in a lot of ways, because there's a lot of things.
There was one scene I was curious about, because I know Nick Castle had a cameo as himself. He was played a neighbor, and there was because I saw the photo,
the dead dog
from the tree.
Yeah.
What was the story behind that? Was that your dog? Whose dog was that supposed to be?
It was a dog in the neighborhood. And it was kind of before things kick off, really, when Michael's escaped, but he is still romping around in his little insane asylum outfit. So he's not in his like full garb yet. He's just
His little
dogging.
insane asylum.
His JJC
His cute little
pajamas.
white outfit.
His little
Yeah.
PJs.
Yeah.
His little linen tracksuit.
Well, wasn't it you
Yeah,
the-
Allison jogged a bunch. There was
Jogged.
I
Jogged a lot.
basically, yeah, like Universal and Blumhouse basically ruined my chances of getting a Under Armour campaign after this because they cut out all of my jogging scenes in all of my
Right.
Under Armour things.
right.
No, I'm kidding. But there was a lot of jogging.
A lot of jogging.
And like jogging around the neighborhood jogging. Like it was just like a thing that Allison did in the morning. And so you see her once at the beginning of the movie, initially how it was running in the neighborhood, just like a normal day. And then as things are starting to heat up, once Michael's escaped, then as she's doing that same jog that she always does, after you already met the dog, that every day she runs by this dog and the dog like runs up to the fence and barks at her. Like it's their kind of routine. As she approaches that house, the dog's not barking. There's a group of neighbors formed and the dog is hanging dead in this tree, which is just horrific. And that was the scene that was cut. Well, all of the jogging, but
is that your dog, Chris, that didn't get to be? Did you make that dog or?
It
You
was,
didn't. Oh,
I
no.
believe it was a taxidermy dog.
It was a
that
taxidermy
props got, but no, it wasn't. I take that back. That's not true. It was a props dog, the props department, but I had to put armature in it and make its neck look broken and dress it with blood and do all that. So basically they gave me this kind of already existing prop dog, and we were supposed to make it, but then we couldn't decide on what kind of dog it was going to be all the way up to the last minute. And so it was like, okay, well, let's just get props to get a dog. And then I took it in the trailer, the infamous trailer, and redressed it and hung it up there. I remember climbing up to the ladders and squirting blood. Because David was like, I want the blood to be, because when you jog,
yeah,
the shot was you see Annie come around along the fence and there's people in the foreground and there's blood dripping and they're looking up, and then she stops and looks up, and then you cut to what that is. So, and he's in the background. Like it was another one of those infamous, you see him way down the street in the distance, standing by the Bronco in his cute little pajamas. So.
Yeah, in his little jams. By the way, so they then obviously cast the dog, the real dog, the alive dog that was not injured in the making of this process. But that dog, so they looked identical. Did you have to adjust the prop dog in order to look like that dog, or was it just like luck?
No, it was, I think what ended up, we reverse engineered it where this is the prop dog that's available. Let's get this breed or this type of dog.
Okay.
And so then we got the dog it didn't match exactly, but movie magic and some fudging, we pulled it off, I think. Unless my memory serves me wrong, which is entirely possible because I can't even remember what I had for dinner last night. So
I feel like with things like that, though, like details like that, you would remember.
I would, yeah.
You're a little bit of a perfectionist.
It's the only thing I'm good at.
That's inaccurate, but okay.
Nelson Acosta wanted to know, who was your favorite director, past or present?
That's really tough. Not that I've worked with, just in general.
Just in general, yeah. Because clearly that's David Gordon Green.
I mean, obviously. Obviously.
Yeah.
It's really tough because there are so many. I feel like all the directors that I really love have very different styles. So it's tough to kind of give like an absolute winner. Someone that I would have loved to work with, but I won't have the chance is like Mike Nichols is one that comes to mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Halloween candy?
I love candy.
You don't eat candy.
I love candy. No, so I don't know, because Halloween candy is different because nobody gives you sour watermelons, and I think sour watermelons are like one of my favorites.
Ooh.
And unless Do you know what? Do you find sour
I'm a
watermelons
bit-
when you go?
I love sour water. I love
I've
the
never had one. Never
the
even heard
the
of it.
Sour Patch Kid
Like the Sour
watermelon
Patch
ones.
Kids.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
okay.
watermelon ones. So that
I've never
Yeah.
had that.
Okay, I'm gonna buy you some and
Okay.
send them.
Okay.
So
All
give me
right.
your address when we're done,
Okay.
and you will get
All
a
right.
box of sour gummies. But I would
And
say
if you
sour
don't
gummies
like
are my
them,
favorite.
you give them to me.
I'll give them to
Give
Sean.
them to, give them to
Yeah.
Sean. Exactly. But I feel like you don't really get that as Halloween candy, though. No one's really
Right.
giving you sour watermelons as Halloween candy. So in terms of Halloween candy, I would say the bite-sized, because I think that the ratio is the best with the bite size of Snickers.
I agree.
Ratio. I'm all about ratio with
Yes.
everything.
Well,
It's
you know, it's
called.
funny.
It's very important.
Can't eat a full crunch candy bar because I don't like the thinness of them. But when you get the little bite-sized Halloween ones, they're perfect.
Perfect. Yeah.
Were
I
you
agree.
did you like Halloween as a holiday as a kid? Or did you
Yeah.
dress up? Were you into
It was my favorite holiday. Even
Yeah.
though I'm terrified of scary things, it was my favorite holiday. It was huge in my house, actually. My parents, we lived like on a street, so I grew up in the Midwest in a town, like I would say pretty similar to like a Haddonfield type, like in terms of what you see. And it's like very like white picket fence, like sidewalks, and East Coast doesn't have sidewalks. It's a thing I'm learning. It's a really big bummer out here. But in the Midwest, they're great sidewalks. So trick-or-treating is like next level. And we lived on a street that was right off of the main street. So we got a lot of traffic. And my mom would always get like the king size candy bars. And so that was always very, very fun. But she would also make like a pot, like so big, I can't even, like it was such a huge pot of chili she would make every year. And my dad would make like a ton of margaritas. So obviously that wasn't for me, but like as kids were coming through, they were getting the king size candy bars, and then they were giving all the parents like chili and margaritas to go,
I'm so
like in
excited.
solo cups. Yeah. So our house was kind of like a gathering spot for everyone. Like even people we didn't really know, we always saw them on Halloween, and so it was a really cool thing. So Halloween for us was always quite special. And then a lot of the kids would end up back at my house, like counting the candy and doing that whole thing where you do the sorting and the trading and all of that. So
that sounds
Halloween
amazing.
was my favorite.
Top three costumes as a kid. Go.
So I was just about to ask too.
Really?
Yeah.
Top three costumes. Right.
I was ketchup and mustard. I was mustard with my friend, and that was a good one. I really liked that.
It's very scary. Mustard is very scary.
Yeah, I know. It was just the regular yellow mustard too,
right.
Not the Dijon, not the fancy, like just
Horrible.
yellow mustard. Yeah. The hat was, you never know. It was perfect. So I was yellow mustard, and then my favorite one of all time was actually my one that my mom and I made. I was a scarecrow from like the Wizard of Oz. My sister is older than me, and she's 2 years older, and I wanted nothing more than to like be one of her friends and her friend group. And so her friend group was doing like where each one of them was a character from the Wizard of Oz, but there was no scarecrow. So I was like, I'll be the scarecrow. And so my mom and I like cut up hula skirts. I took my dad's old flannel, like we stuffed everything. Like it was unbelievable. And that was, I think, my favorite costume because it was like so hands-on. And it looked unreal. I would have won all of the costume contests. And then third, just because I was really little, but I have to say it was one of my favorites because I had a habit of whatever I was for Halloween, I would wear for the next like year of my life until the next Halloween. So I think I was like 4 and I was Dorothy. Again, Wizard of Oz. I love the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
I was Dorothy, and I lived in my Dorothy costume until my ruby slippers were like, my toes were like crunched up as tight as they could be and could not fit. But yeah, so my mom always was like wary. She was really happy that I wasn't yellow mustard for a whole year. I had like grown out of that phase by then, luckily.
That's awesome. Those are good choices.
Yeah.
Now, before we let you go, I have to. I think the fans would probably crucify us if we didn't at least talk a little bit about Halloween Kills. I know it's kind of like,
Yes.
how do we talk about a movie that we're not supposed to know anything about? What do you think the fans can expect from this film? You know, as compared to the first, and maybe talk about what it was like, you know, to work with some of the returning cast, like Charles Cyphers, Nancy Stevens,
Yeah.
you know,
It was.
Kyle Richards. Sorry, I forgot Kyle.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. What I loved so much about this is Haddonfield kind of has always been like a secondary character in all of them, and this is the first time where you kind of like put faces to the name, and you actually like meet the town, and it widens the lens on the community, which is something that is really nice. Like I feel like everything we've seen so far, not just in ours but in a lot of the other films as well, is like it's very focused on, you know, your main core players, and this is nice because it just broadens the scope, and you kind of meet all of these new people, and there are some people that you meet that you've heard their names but you've never met them. There are people that you have seen that are coming back, like you mentioned, and so it's just big and bad and mean and chaotic and wonderful. I feel like it starts at 100 miles an hour and like just keeps going faster, but on the accelerator all the way to the end. It was a blast to make. It was a huge undertaking to make. It was super ambitious, but I think that we really pulled it out.
I think also too, it's you said it earlier, just that it's an ensemble piece, and there's it is broader, and there's big things happening in different places at the same time that you're going back and forth with, and it's a big broad. There's so much going on, and there's so much to be involved in with everybody that you care about, and so it feels so much bigger, and so much happens.
Yeah, I feel like it does have a lot of heart at the end of the day as well, which is something that movies that have like how Chris just described, like you can lose that a little bit just because there's so much happening. Granted, I haven't seen the final product, but from what I remember and from what I have seen, I feel like it does have a lot of heart, and that I feel like can be tough to do, but not when you have David Gordon Green at the helm.
Exactly.
Are you as anxious as everybody else is to see a poster, a trailer, you know, like a final? I mean, they have the teaser, but that isn't like the final trailer, really, right?
No, it's not.
No,
trailer. Yeah.
No.
I mean,
I've seen some things, but
yeah. Oh, you've seen it.
No, I don't know what I'm allowed to say, but I had to approve like some things for potential like press things. So I did see like potential posters and things a while ago, but I don't know what's going to change. I mean, it's something that, you know, they had a year ago. I don't know if they're going to kind of edit it or what they're going to do. So I don't know like what even stands today and like what's going to happen with this rollout.
Do you think fans will be excited by what you did see without revealing anything? Think they'll be excited? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure they will.
Are you a little nervous that we may not get the big theatrical release? I mean, we, you know, with what's going on, if things keep going in the positive direction, I think it'll be good. But it's
yeah, I really hope that I'm like in the boat that Chris is, where I feel really positive about it. But at the end of the day, we don't know. I mean, if 2020 taught us anything, it's you can't really plan on anything happening the way you think it's supposed to. So I really hope that it happens that way. But I also, if you know this October rolls around and there's no chance for a theatrical release, and it's either we push it a year or not. I mean, I feel like it should just come out, you know, like I would forego a theatrical release if it means like having to wait on the movie again. But
I'm positive on it. We're going to end this on a positive note. It's going to come out.
It's definitely going to come out.
And it's going to be, and people are going to dig it. It's going to be a good Halloween. Last Halloween kind of was brutal, but this one, Halloween's back. We're going to have a good Halloween this year, you guys. I'm confident, right? We're all in.
This
Yes?
Halloween
Okay.
kills.
Boom. She just said that. Boom. Well, I'm excited to see Sun. We're going to see Sun.
Thank
We'll
you.
probably talk about it on the show.
Oh, for sure. We will, for sure.
I can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts on it.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you so much for coming on, and we look forward to seeing Sun this Friday, March 5th. Everybody get it on demand. If you're lucky enough to have a theater, go see it. I hope
In
it's
theaters,
at a theater.
it does have some. It's a theatrical release in some theaters in some areas, so keep an eye out for it. The sound design is so unbelievable. It's like, regardless where you watch the movie, just make sure it's in a very dark room with either headphones that are very loud or in a theater, because it's kind of the best way to see it.
Awesome. I look forward
Thanks,
to seeing
guys.
it. And thank you so much for doing this. It was so nice
Thanks
to
for
see your face.
having me. I know, it was so good to see you guys too. I really, it just brings back so many memories, and it makes me so excited to work together again in the future.
We're doing it soon.
And the funny thing is, the guy who's the killer. Hi.
What was that?
That's all I heard.